You get born with a border, whether you like it or not. A line that separates you from everyone else. It can be soft, but borders get pretty grisly pretty quickly. One of my first grisly instances was lying in bed, hands tearing into each other, praying my parents would die, so I wouldn't have to tell them that my border didn't quite seem to be straight. I didn't have a psychological term for it then, but this was the first stage of 3 that Alan Downes lays out in the incredible book, The Velvet Rage, about growing up gay in a straight world. Stage 1, overwhelmed by shame. The space you occupy alone behind the border is a rigid, necessary closet. But despite this, the border's also where I fell in love, where I left the closet and I held his hand in the park with strength and warmth, where I leaned in for a goodbye kiss, and where I heard the words hurled at us as a hiss. I've got nothing against gays, but do you have to do it in front of my kids? Grizzly was back. The young woman had materialised out of nowhere. I remember her children standing behind her, porous witnesses. This wasn't my introduction to shame. Both of my parents are recovering alcoholics, and they've been separated for most of my life. So what would happen is one would relapse, and me and my brother would be shipped to the sanctuary of the other. So how do I perceive shame? Shame is my parents waking up in the morning after a relapse, sunlight skinning them through the window, their house a state, and their children gone. So how did they cope with this feeling before they recovered? Well, they pretty much just threw as many McDonald's drive-thrus at us as we could stomach. So as a child, I'd enjoyed the sad and tender McFlurry side of shame, but in standing on the other side of it and hearing those women's words and many others like it, I found rage. Rage is gutting someone in your head without remorse. A senseless, cutting flame of hate and force. It burns everyone around it. And I swallowed it. From there, my relationship became a doomed series of contactless, shifty half-goodbyes. But this was no stage 1. I wasn't back in the closet. I was doing anything for the world to welcome me back in after the crimes that I thought I'd committed against it. This was stage 2, compensating for shame, or as I like to think of it, the McDonald's drive-thru stage. Here, you pay anything for validation, and you violently avoid invalidation or anything you perceive to be invalidation. Of course, in your terror of it, you see the threat of it everywhere. In your friends, in your lovers, in your ASOS courier. Stage 2 is where my border became pretty North Sea-sized. I was lying in my room one afternoon in perfect silence, and something strange happened. A cough sounded from the flat upstairs. And what was strange about this was how high and giddy it got me. How desperately I clung to that chesty sound in the moments after it ended. I found myself mortally dependent on a stranger's pair of irritated lungs. And that's the loneliness you're destined for in stage 2. Rising to the ceiling for the sound of a stranger and falling for anything. A desperate investor. You buy into any promise, you work yourself to death, you devote yourself to surface. Uploading your face, your dinner, how much thinner you are now than what you were then, sharing your every night and how you're dressed. Of course, the trouble there is that you wear any falsehood to impress. If you finally reach the end of the quest, if you finally get the attention, it's your lie that has gained the approval, not your truth. And you know it. Devotion to surface left me with the deepest damage, but it had one advantage. Facades are weak. If you give all of your weight to them, you fall through them. Even if, like me, you weigh less than your iPhone 8. But when you fall, you discover your raw, unaffected, unfiltered depths, under the cap, in the office slog, in the mundane, in the hate. Everyone has them. I had no idea there was so much space behind my border, because it had always just been named a closet. But I fumbled around in the dark and I had made some beautiful deposits. You're kind to your hiding place. You craft and you decorate and you build yourself a currency. And by this, I mean you find what has real worth to you. I sat down in front of a pen and a piece of paper and I wrote a poem called Time for Love. I found myself exploring not just that homophobic stranger, but all of the structures that supported and enabled people like her. Tradition, religion, education, the heavy-duty patriarchal bricks that build up the ancient illusion of normality. Normality, I found my left handwriting, is a crowd-sourced fantasy. And in that line, I had my poem. A short polemic about a choice. Goodbye kiss or shameful departure. There it was, right there on paper. The rage. But on the page, the rage was far away enough not to burn, and just close enough to keep me warm. So that page sat there, behind my border, keeping me warm, but gathering dust. I kept going back out into the world, but I was too terrified to bring it with me. I'd found poetry, my intrinsic, hoarded language, my currency, but I was still living skint, because I had no idea what would happen if I made that withdrawal. But I'd had a few strong years of filmmaking experience. I could see the poem unfolding in my head frame by frame, so maybe I just needed a lead actor to read the lines. It wouldn't be me, of course. Whenever I saw myself on camera, I could actually feel my organs shifting to make way for a new definition of cringe. Absolutely not. But as I repeated these doubts to myself, I could feel a rebellion coming up. I abruptly shut the rebel down. I condemned it. How dare it desire anything other than the shy and the shame and the shell that had protected it my whole life? How ungrateful. But even as I was rejecting it, the rebel excited me. Because the rebel gave no apology. And the rebel couldn't give my words, my story away for anyone else to say. So I read it out loud, just to myself, over and over, until I pulled every last word from the closet shelf and out through my mouth. This was the final hurdle before I could arrive at stage 3, which, by the way, is so much better than a McFlurry. It's called Cultivating Authenticity. In April 2018, BBC The Social released the film on Facebook around noon, and I set off to stay in the Highlands for a few days. By the time I saw mountains, nearly 1 million people had seen the film, and soon I could say I'd made that goodbye kiss that I'd been so ashamed of in front of 13 million people. I was not oblivious to the fact that a venture onto the internet with dirt to dish on tradition, religion, education probably sparked some conversation. And the comment section was generally split in two. The united front of love, of people who'd felt exactly what I had, word for word. And then those with rage of their own, who quite quickly descended into the logic of rage, generally consisting of comments like, homophobia doesn't exist in 2018, you faggot. And then, of course, there were the Catholics. A month after the film was released, I was reading this headline. And while there were more than a few complaints about some of the imagery I chose to use to explore certain aspects of faith, there came some beautiful news from Boston. A man named Nathaniel DeYoung wanted to start an LGBT activist group that invited gay couples to public parks to walk hand in hand, together and safe. And he wanted to call it the Time for Love project, after the inspiration he'd received from my poem. But I want to return to rage. The rage was interesting because it claimed my problem had already been solved, that I should stop complaining. There are a lot of people out there that believe every poem has been written, every struggle already ironed out. These are the people who have never had a gulf for a border, who have never had to venture out of safety just to exist. They are here, and for one reason or another, some of us are either born or driven into orbit, all the way over here. We tend to see horrors and experience traumas, but look what else we've got. The distance to see the flaws in the whole design, the vision. So I don't want to stay here. I want to take everything I've seen and felt from the edge and bring it straight back to them in a form that affects them. Time for Love was where space could be shared, where I placed my first real truth and let others take a look. And I don't know what the homophobe to ally conversion rate was, but what I do know is that there's more to this truth than other people listening to you, because this space is where I could finally listen to myself. That doesn't always feel right. Stage 3 can feel like a simmering, bewildering confrontation of the parts of you that you just don't like. Shame hasn't disappeared for me because I wrote down some magic words. I'm still cursed by it. I'm still pulled away from every kiss prematurely by some invisible puppet master. He's a right bastard. I'd made the goodbye kiss in front of 13 million people, and that was an act of rebellion. But it wasn't quite an act of love, because I never really let it pass my lips. For me, love always came hand in hand with a shout, or a relapse, or a darkness. At the border, there love is. A bridge that should feel to the foot like old, safe stone. But in shame's shoes, it feels like a step completely into the unknown. So I never trusted it. I took other routes. But 2 weeks ago I was given an opportunity. I sat in George Square, evening time. 2 young men approached me and one asked if I had any weed. And I said I wish, because it had been a stressful day. Something changed in his eye. He recoiled. He asked me if I was gay. I asked him why. And he said, because I smash gays. He stood over me. He interrogated me. He wanted to know. Look at the way you're sitting. Look at the way you're acting. I removed myself from that threat as quickly and calmly as I could, and in the moments that followed, I faced a far greater threat. Me. Because I could feel it in my mouth, beginning to sink. The full weight of hate. Because shame is only ever just hate, wrapped up in promise and safety. I could hear the familiar, dark, serrated language of self-loathing back that said, what if you hadn't crossed your legs? What if you'd been more normal? It moved from my mouth to my throat, it kept going down, with the sole intention of infiltrating my border. And in the past, I tried to hide from hate as it sunk. I saw it coming and I put up every surface and defence I could find, even if that meant hurting other people. But this time something told me to take a risk. Same something that wrote the poetry and brought it out of the closet with me. It said, let the hate sink. So I did. I let it get to the gate. I always thought hate would be so heavy. I didn't know how it would meet me. Just like I didn't know how my poetry, my truth, would meet the world. The difference is, hate is the sharp edge of holding a hand, and your truth is the warm ledge. Hate is language choked, and your truth is words flowing loose in your head. Hate is walking through the park with enough shame to build bricks, and your truth is letting the kiss get past your lips. The difference is, when my poetry touched the page, the ink sunk in. But in this moment 2 weeks ago, when that hate landed, it didn't weigh a thing. It rolled off the page. It is convenient and easy, and it is terrified of honest currency that needs to be cultivated. The experiences are exchanged for patiently. It can't take your truth, because whether we like it or not, we were born with a border right here. This is the surface between you and the world. Not your phone, not your clothes, not your politics, not your fears, not your shame. This will never be redefined, redesigned, outvoted, or due an upgrade. This is the only defence you will ever need, and the more you look for your truth in this, the more every sharp edge, the more every other border starts to vanish.